Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Asi Efros, and our special guest today is Jessica Gerard, the owner of an amazing lingerie store based in Minnesota called Flirt. Hi, Jessica. So nice to have
Hi,
you with us today.
thank you for having me.
So, you started your career at a law firm, and then you opened an antique store. And now you own a lingerie shop.
Yes,
So, can you please share with us how Flirt came about?
sure. So out of college, I had my first job was at a prominent law firm in downtown Minneapolis. And I started out in their library for the first 5 years, and then I moved to marketing. Uh, After 10 years, I had my daughter, and she's just the love of my life. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love my daughter. And they put her in my arms, and I knew that there was no way that I could put her in daycare, that we always had to be together. And for many years, I had this idea for an antique shop. I had a file of different things. I had new things mixed in, and just had this idea. And so I decided when she was born that I was going to quit my job and pursue this antique shop so she could come with me to work. And I'd never worked retail in my life, and I just figured out how to do it. And I opened when she was 6 months old, and she
Oh,
came with
wow.
me every day. And I still have customers that say, "How's the baby?" They've crossed over from the antique shop and followed me. Also, another part of the whole opening the store was that a few years before, my mother had been killed in a car accident, and so I had a small amount of money from that I used as my initial investment for the antique shop, and I wanted to do something, um, kind of as a tribute to her, because she and I loved going to antique stores, and I just wanted to do something that she would be proud of me for.
That's so
And
amazing.
so, yes, I opened the store and I expanded. After 2 years, I moved around the corner to Grand Avenue, which was kind of the prestigious shopping avenue in St. Paul. And I had a bigger store. I had a lot of furniture. I had an upholsterer working with me. And so that all happened in '07. And in the fall of '07, I got divorced. And we all know what was on the horizon at that point was the recession of
Yes,
'08. And
yes.
so as we moved towards the end of '07, I knew that I was in trouble. And at that time, I was in a group of women-owned businesses that six of us started. We were just friends, and we wanted to do things to help promote each other. And the ones that were doing well, despite the economy going down, were the women's clothing stores.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to compete with my friends and open a clothing store. And I did, part of my antique shop, the new things were going well. So what went with that women wear instead of the antiques? And my friend and I were brainstorming. She was in my group, and she said, "How about lingerie?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, that would go really well with my kind of French antique shop." So yeah, I went to Style Max that January of 2008, and I'd never been on a buying trip or anything like that. And I met with Diane from Abergé at that point, Diane Kettner, and Jennifer from Cosabella, and made my first buy. And in April of 2008, I closed the antique shop. I took 3 weeks and redid the whole store and opened as Flirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Oh my God, you.
and it was immediately a dramatic difference. Like, it was doing well, and
Oh
Yeah.
wow. So you took like the tragedy and you converted it into such an amazing beginning for yourself, and you're so courageous too to do this in such a progression of things. Like you had your baby and you opened your store in 6 months. Wow. Wow, hats off to you.
Thank you.
No, lingerie business, just having business, I feel like takes a lot of courage from people. I think it's probably the first prerequisite that
Yeah.
um, any
Any
business owner
business,
should
yes.
have. Yeah. Well, Flirt feels like more than just a store. So, what makes it such a special place for the women to walk in?
Yeah. So my store is based on pinup girls, and it just kind of has an old world feel. I think in this modern world, it's hard to find places where women can just be feminine and be themselves. You know, I have pink walls. My paint color is called Marry Me Pink, and it's a very elegant atmosphere, and it's a very welcoming atmosphere. The staff are all very lovely, and they love to, you know, treat customers in a way that I feel it's hard to find good customer service anymore, where people just actually care about their customers. And I don't know, there's just, it's something magical about it, about Flirt, I think. And I have customers come in occasionally and they tell me, you know, they remember their first visit into the shop, even if it was like a decade ago or, you know, whatever it
Oh,
was. And
wow.
it just has a magical effect on people. I don't know. It's just really, it's special. It's special to me, obviously. And maybe that's why it's rubs off on other people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I also remember you saying that at some point in the United States, sweet and sexy were kind of together. It was that
Yes.
pin-up world, and then it kind of separated. So you stayed with sweet?
So I think that it was sexy sweet, right? And that's my tagline.
Right.
Were the pinup girls, because you look at them, they are sweet, but they're
Hmm.
also very sexy.
Yes.
And like I told you, I think it was maybe the 60s where sexy and sweet divided, and
Hmm.
things became either granny panties or super sexy.
Right.
And so yeah, I like to try to bring it back together. And you know, my mom was born in 1931, so I was raised watching old movies and just the elegant ladies of that time. And
Yes.
yeah, just I like to bring that back, you know. Yeah.
Um, so you mentioned your store had 5 locations, right, throughout its history, and
Yes.
one of them was in the airport, correct?
Yes. Yes, correct.
That's a fantastic achievement because we all know for some reason all the stores in the airport, but pay attention because we have this little time when we're waiting for our plane. We walk around and and here
Right.
it is, your amazing Flirt Boutique.
Yeah, it's not an easy feat to get into an airport. Like I think most people don't realize the process. It's not, you just don't go say I'll rent a space at the airport.
Right.
Um,
Oh,
the
I know, because throughout my history, we were trying to be in
Yeah,
airports, for some of
yes,
our, it's very hard,
it's
very
very
hard.
hard. Yes,
Hmm.
so it's kind of an interesting story. The first step you have to go, and well, at least in my process, was a 90-second PowerPoint presentation in front of a giant room full of mostly businessmen,
Hmm.
about why I thought my store would work in an airport.
Hmm.
And so the people who are at this meeting are mostly airport commission and people called concessionaires.
Mm-hmm.
And they are the people who put together batches of stores and pitch them to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, after my presentation, I had a few concessionaires interested, and yeah, then one thing led to another, and we won our batch, and away you go.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
You've mentioned, you told me that you helped women through so many life moments. And how does it feel to be part of the stories?
yeah. Um, well, I think having a lingerie store, there's so many parts of women's lives that can be touched by lingerie. Like maybe they're trying to have a baby, or even before that, they're getting married,
Yeah.
or they're having their first bra fitting. Um, Maybe they're celebrating an anniversary, or they're going on a trip. I just over the 17 years, I have built such strong relationships with my customers, and they have come to me in their like lowest moments, like maybe they've just signed their divorce papers. And
Mm.
I had one woman, she said, I didn't know where else to go. And so I came to see you.
Oh,
And I
wow.
always just have open arms. I'm always giving hugs to people. I mean, there's a lot of different emotions that people are going through when they come in. Hopefully they're mostly happy, but maybe they're going through something really rough and they just need to pick me up. Um, but yeah, my favorite are the people who are trying to have babies. I love babies. And then they come in, a year later, whatever it is, and here's the baby.
Oh, yeah. So they bring babies.
They
Well,
bring
to the
babies,
respective,
yes.
right? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
I think it's like the highest level of gratitude, you know, because you've probably changed their lives at some point.
Yeah,
It's a very intimate place,
yeah,
lingerie store, right?
yeah.
Um, and I remember mentioning creating a onesie, right, for the
I
babies.
know. I think I
That's
keep saying I'm going to make a onesie that says "Flirt Baby."
right. That's cute.
Yeah,
So cute.
yeah,
And you also mentioned the amazing work you do for women's shelter.
yeah, yeah.
Can you
So
tell
I
me a little bit about that?
sure. So probably starting in the late teens, I had started collecting donated bras. So people would come in and with their old bras and say, "Do you have any idea what we can do with these?" So I started collecting those, and I was just dropping them off at a women's shelter. And I try to have a New Year's resolution every year. And in 2019, I just wanted to take it up a level and be able to go actually help these women and do bra fittings. And so I started looking around, and I found this women's home called Sarah's in St. Paul, and it's not really a women's shelter. It's women who come there and they can live there for up to 2 years. Most of them are from other countries, mainly Africa and the Middle East, and they have experienced torture, abuse, just many different things. And they're most of them are funneled to Sarah's through the Center for Victims of Torture.
Hmm.
Um, when I started, well, I called them and I said, I would like to come. I have bras. I could do bra fittings if you're comfortable with that. And they were so excited. They had me come and do a tour of their site, which is actually, um, it's where nuns used to live who ran the school that was
Mhm.
next to the building. So they have 32 rooms. And when I went for the tour, I was so surprised that there weren't little kids. And I said, well, where are all the children? And they said, no, you don't understand. Either they've seen their children, their family killed, or they had to escape prison or leave their family. So that really struck me. And they arrived there with nothing other than what they're wearing. So um, I decided that, well, if they have nothing, then they need underwear, and I sell underwear. So I started selling underwear for $5 that I don't make any profit from. So they're just at the register, like, would you like to add $5 to your purchase, and we can donate these to a women's home.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing that, and I started doing the bra fittings. And in the beginning, like, they didn't even want to tell me their names or where they're from, because they had escaped bad things.
Mm-hmm.
But now they come and they give me hugs, and it's so sweet, and they change over. They can live there for up to 2 years until they're on their feet. But it's really amazing to see what this organization has done. They help them get schooling. They help them. Some of them have built Habitat for Humanity houses. Just so many things, and seeing them succeed is really, really lovely. So yeah, I'm very honored to be part of that organization, and I'm always looking for donated bras. And I have actually, Montel, the brand Montel, has been
Mm-hmm.
really amazing, and they will send me bras occasionally. Also, Contrail, yes. So then I have brand new bras, which is really awesome. Well, I mean, I think about the way, you know, myself or customers or whoever feel when you have your something pretty on underneath, you feel better. So if
Mm-hmm.
I can do that by giving them, some underwear and some bras. Also, I should note that Be Tempted Wacol has been very helpful to me with the whole thing. I usually get my $5 underwear from them. I
Mm-hmm.
watch for the sales and all of that. But yeah, they're really sweet and helpful.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
It just, I had chills when you were talking about these women.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
It really makes you appreciate what you have when you see people that have nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's the hardest part about working with new lingerie brands, and what would make it easier for you?
Sure. I think, it's always a risk taking on a new brand because, maybe they haven't quite perfected the sizing, or it can just be small details, like if the hooks aren't quite right. And they're just learning as well. Um, it's a risk, and for a small store like mine, I don't have a huge budget, so I like to keep my buying very tight, and I only take things that I feel very confident that I can sell. And I think, it's risky to take new brands, but I think something they could try would be to give things on consignment. And most likely everything's going to sell just fine. But in the chance that it doesn't, I mean, rather than the store being stuck with something we can't sell, it would be an easier way to bring new
Mm-hmm.
brands in, or maybe just have small or no minimums. Just get
Mm-hmm.
your foot in the door and let us try it out without spending a bunch of money. I think that would be really helpful, and it would make it more appealing to bring in small brands.
Absolutely. And in what aspects do you think the brands should improve? Um,
You mean the small brands?
yeah, the small brands.
um, I think sometimes their sizing is off. I have had small brands where I give sizing suggestions, and they're not open to it because they think they have it right. but
Mm-hmm.
I'm the end person where I'm actually seeing it on customers, and
Mm-hmm.
I would think that that would be very um, very good feedback. So I think they need
Exactly.
to,
You hear what customers are saying too, right?
yeah.
So you have this
I think they
immediate
need to be a
feedback.
little more receptive to
Mm-hmm.
hearing feedback. Also, I think some of the finishing details can be a little bit tricky. Like if the hooks aren't quite right, or maybe elastic in the wrong place, or they're just small things. And
Mm-hmm.
I would be I'm very interested in supporting small brands. I myself am a small brand, and I would be very interested in helping anybody if they want to send me their samples and I can give feedback. I would be happy to do that. I mean, sometimes it could just be like the smallest thing that is between them being more successful and
Absolutely.
not having it work out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you are at trade shows like Curve New York or Evolution, um, do you tend to go to the brands that you already know, or you do stop at the booths, smaller booths of new emerging brands?
Right.
And do you buy first time when you see them there?
The small brands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sometimes, well, usually they're emailing me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get many emails. I'm sure most stores get many emails inviting me to go see their booth,
Mm-hmm.
and or to just take on their brand. And I say, well, I need to see it in person. I
Mm-hmm.
have them send me the catalog, and then I'll stop by their booth. Maybe I It would have to be really spectacular for me to take it the first time I stop by their booth, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'll go again a second time, just see if they're there again. They're still contacting me, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna come, and I'll do it, and I'll just do the minimum and try it out. Yeah, I mean, they have to understand that it's a risk
Right.
versus something that's an established brand that I've had for a long time. But I do like to keep my store. My store is very fashion forward, and it's colorful and
Yeah.
artistic. And I like to, try new things, and my customers appreciate that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what can small, which you already mentioned, there are smaller minimums. Like what smaller minimum you are looking for as the
If I were a
Mhm.
small brand, I would
Mhm.
have no minimums.
Right, right. So
I
you
would
can
just say,
choose
even if you want to
what you
just
buy.
take three
Mm-hmm.
pieces, take a size run of this item
Mm-hmm.
and see how it goes.
Right, right.
I mean,
That would be ideal.
yeah. What
Mm-hmm.
I think you're just scaring people off by having larger minimums. And I understand, stores want to have a presence. They want you to have like a good amount of stuff so you're representing the brand. But you also have to remember that many stores are very small. Like my store is only 650 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in my store, you have a presence because we are very hands-on customer service. When somebody comes in, we're working with them. We're showing them everything in their size. It's not like, and we're telling stories about the brands.
Mm-hmm.
This is this tiny brand we just took on, and it's so lovely, and here's why we took it, and here's
Mm-hmm.
something about the owner.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Oh,
actively
that's
talking about
beautiful. Right,
everything about what we're showing them,
right.
and that is what makes the store special, and people fall in love with things. Or maybe they're going on a trip to Italy and they're trying to decide between two sets, and I say, well, this one is from Italy. It's you could, and they're like, oh, that would be wonderful. Or maybe they have a favorite country, or whatever. They're
Mhm.
from somewhere, and it allows them to have a connection to what they're buying, and they love the stories.
Yeah. Oh, so you're the biggest promoter of new emerging brands in your store.
Yeah.
That's so nice to hear. Well, I think this information that you just shared will be very helpful because I walk the show, talk to the brands, and they're like wondering why lingerie store buyers are not stopping by, or um, where are they?
Right.
So I
Well,
think this.
and they also have to remember, I mean, we all have our established brands. Like,
Right.
we know what is a good seller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we just have an endless amount of space and money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's two important factors. So if the economy is tight, for example, like it is right now,
Mm-hmm.
I have to take things that I know are going to sell. And when the economy is more generous, then I can take a little more risk. I have a little more money to spend. But when things are so tight, it's very tricky because I have to have money for the things that I know are going to sell and my long-standing brands that people expect when they come in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I could see how it would be very tricky at this time. These past 2 years, this current year and last year was very tricky. But I do think things are going to get much better. I have a lot of faith that things are going to get better, and I think by fall we'll be rolling along. I think it's just a little bit of bumps, and people are, getting used to a few things. So
Right.
yeah.
So, eh, you had a few, I mean, you went through few ups and downs of economy, and there was this big 2008, and then there was COVID. So you persevered. How do you keep going when things are tough?
Right. Would I rather be doing this, or would I rather have to get a job?
Okay.
I mean, I'm single, so
Okay.
it's all on me. I have to pay for my own life, and I have to pay for the store.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I just think about the freedom that I have. I can, create my own schedule. I have staff if I need to be gone, or my daughter's 20 now, and I like to have time with her when her schedule allows. And I just think also you have to have a lot of faith in yourself. And I mean, I'm a faithful person, so I have faith in God, and that, there are going to be hard times, but it's not like I've ever been homeless. It's not like I've ever had a day of hunger in my life. And everything always turns out for the best.
Mm.
And I also think about my mom, who was divorced when I was very young, and she had a daycare with 13 children my whole life. And I think about how tired or, scared she may have been at sometimes. And I'm like, I got this. This is easy. This is nothing
Mm.
compared to what other people have had to deal with. So it's all great. You just have to have the right attitude.
Yeah, exactly. And you have the right attitude. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I feel like you're such an amazing optimist, and you
Oh,
have faith in yourself and
yeah.
the universe. Um, so it's
Yeah.
so refreshing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am probably the world's biggest optimist.
Next to us, so.
Yeah, right.
So what's next for Flirt?
Well, I mean, I always kind of have this dream in the back of my head that maybe I'll have another store, like a second location, maybe in a different state or something. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think probably one Flirt is enough for Minnesota. I mean, I could see having a small one on the other side of town, but I don't know. What I really want to do is have one maybe somewhere else.
Mhm.
So we'll see. Yeah. Just,
Absolutely. I'm
I,
excited.
yeah.
Yes,
You
I'll
never know
follow.
what I'm going to pull out of my hat.
Exactly. Absolutely. So I'll be like watching, following, and
Right, right. If
see.
you say it enough times, then it's going to happen. Yes.
Absolutely. You've manifested everything you wanted so far in an amazing way, in
Yeah.
just this fantastic way. You've succeeded pretty much in every goal that you had, and that's amazing.
Thank you.
I think it should instill like this optimism into other people.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
so, what do you hope people remember most about your store?
I would hope that they remember that it was a place filled with love and just that it had a special magic that you couldn't find somewhere else. I really think it does. When I had my store in St. Paul for 10 years, and it was such a sweet little spot. It was an old building, and it just had this special feeling there. And when I moved the store in November of 2020 to Edina, which is more of a prestigious suburb of Minneapolis, and there's more luxury shopping there.
Mhm.
When I left my old store, I knew that whatever went in that store after me, it would just that special feeling would still be there. And you hear stories about people that go back. Maybe it's something tragic happened in a place, or maybe it was something lovely happened, but you can kind of have a sense of feeling about what happened there. And I just think whenever anybody goes in that old location, it'll always have a feeling of love. So, and I,
Absolutely.
I, I hope, I'm building that feeling in the store I have now as well. And that's what I hope.
Oh, that's amazing. It will always have your happy, optimistic spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Jessica, thank you so much. You shared so much of amazing information that I feel like viewers will love, especially brands, new brands. And thank you so much for sharing all this amazing history of your store and your history. And I wish you best of luck with everything, all your plans.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you find this content useful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to see more videos from Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Asi Efros. Thank you so much for watching.